You hear the term alpha male all the time. It's in YouTube titles, in self help books, in the advice your friend gives you. Maybe you've watched videos on how to become one. Maybe you felt the pressure to dominate every room you enter. But the real story behind that pressure is far stranger than you've been told. Why does that pressure feel so ancient yet so unnatural? It begins in a zoo, not in a forest or a mountain range. And everything you think you know about dominance might be a ghost dressed up in fur. The year is 1944. A Swiss behaviorist named Rudolf Schenkel begins watching wolves. But he's not in the wild. He's at the Basel Zoo. The wolves are not a family pack. They are unrelated adults. They were captured from different places and thrown together. They live on concrete, not on soft forest floor. Their space is small and barren. They have no reason to cooperate. They only have each other. And they are strangers. So what happens when you cage strangers together? In this artificial hothouse, Schenkel watches. He sees them snarl over food. He sees them posture, dominate, submit. He watches fights that draw blood. From this, he writes a paper in 1947. He invents the terms alpha and beta. The alpha, he decides, is the wolf that wins. The beta is the one that loses. The idea is simple. It's memorable. And it is completely wrong. For the next 2 decades, the idea sits in academic circles. Then it finds its great amplifier. A young wildlife biologist named L. David Mech writes a book. It's called The Wolf. Ecology and Behavior of an Endangered Species. It arrives in 1970. Mech draws heavily on Schenkel's alpha-beta framework. The book becomes the definitive popular text on wolves. It sells and sells. It shapes how a generation imagines wolf society. David Attenborough narrates. Documentaries feature the alpha wolf. The concept lodges into the Western mind. But here's the quiet tragedy. Mech was still looking through a zoo lens. He had not yet lived among wild wolves. What would he find when he finally did? Then the story takes a turn. In the late 1980s and 1990s, Mech heads to the Canadian Arctic. He observes wolves on Ellesmere Island. These wolves have never seen a human. They are not in a zoo. They are not captive. They are family. Mech watches a new picture emerge. There is no daily fight for dominance. No constant jockeying for rank. The pack is a mother, a father, and their pups. Sometimes pups from a previous year stay to help. Leadership is parental. It's calm. It's not earned through combat. It's simply assumed because they are the parents. Mech sees a breeding male feed his pups. He sees a female lead the hunt without any contest. He sees play. He sees cooperation. The strutting, snarling chaos of the zoo is nowhere to be found. Mech realizes his mistake. In 1999, he publishes a paper with a title that feels like a confession: Alpha Status, Dominance, and Division of Labor in Wolf Packs. In it, he states plainly that the term alpha is not helpful. He says it adds no information about wild wolves. He writes that it is no longer appropriate. The alpha wolf was a product of captive conditions. Another voice enters the story. Biologist Gordon Haber spent over 4 decades watching wolves. He focused on a famous family in Denali National Park, the Toklat pack. Haber saw the same truth. The breeding male was not a tyrant. He was a parent. When the female leader was shot by a hunter, the pack didn't have a power struggle. It slowly dissolved because it was a family without its mother. That's how real wolf packs operate. They are built on bonds, not on brute force. Haber documented that the wolves often live in peaceful, stable groups. Conflicts were rare and ritualized. Real wolf alphas are just parents. They guide, they protect, they nurture. This understanding is now the consensus among wolf researchers. Yet the public still clings to the image of the snarling alpha. So why does this myth refuse to die? Now, shift the lens to you. Because while the biologists were correcting themselves, the myth escaped. The alpha wolf idea wandered out of the wild. It crept into human society. It burrowed into dating seminars, corporate retreats, and self-improvement channels. It whispered a seductive and dangerous story. That to be a real man, you must dominate. You must climb a hierarchy of other men. You must play the aggressive victor. And if you don't, you lose your worth. The alpha male concept became an identity. Maybe you've worn it yourself. Maybe you've tried to be the alpha in your group of friends. You've felt the pressure to never back down, to always be the most dominant voice, to win arguments, to assert control. It might have brought you some short-term wins. But under the surface, something else was happening. exhaustion, isolation. A quiet voice asking, is this really who you are? Because the zoo myth didn't just change how you see wolves, it changed how you see yourself. It told you that your natural state is not enough. You must become something else. You must fight for your place every day. But that's not even how wolves live. It's how a traumatized captive acts. The anxiety you feel when you're not alpha enough, it's a ghost born in a Swiss zoo in 1944. You're measuring yourself against a fiction. Now consider the alternative. The real wolf pack shows a different kind of strength, one that is quiet, one that is reliable. The breeding wolf does not waste energy on daily dominance battles. He is steady. He is present. He is a father first. The pack follows not out of fear, but because of care. What if that's the true model? Think about the men you've genuinely respected. Were they the ones who shouted the loudest? Or the ones who showed up when it mattered? The ones who could be calm in a crisis? The ones who taught, who protected, who listened? That is the wolf way, not the zoo way. So the next time you hear the term alpha male, or the next time you feel that old anxiety rising, the pressure to dominate a meeting, the fear that you're not enough, you can catch yourself. You can remember the concrete floor of the Basel Zoo. You can remember the confused wolves forced to perform for a scientist who didn't understand them. And you can choose the wild way instead. Because the alpha wolf is a myth. And you were never meant to become one. You were meant to be something far more powerful. You were meant to be a part of a family. Quiet, competent, and real. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. A new story every week.